Unearthed Games is building an app that will take all of their random rolling tables across all of their books and all of their content and put it into one application on your freaking phone. One bookshelf. The people you know from the Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG are going to work together with the virtual tabletop Roll20. You can get a free copy of Lost Mine of Phandelver if you sign up, or if you're already signed up for D&D Beyond, and the new Unearthed Arcana is out, so we're going to take a quick look at that. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Tarask and this is D&D Newswave, a show where I talk about little tidbits of news in the world of Dungeons & Dragons so you don't have to sit at your computer 24/7 and read everything there is to read on the internet. So let's just start with number 1. Unearthed Games is right now building an app for our phone where they will take all of the random story generating elements, the random rolling tables for monsters, for NPCs, for places, like for example in Spectacular Settlements, it's full of random rolling tables. They're going to implement that all into a phone application that where you just press a button on your phone, you get all kinds of random stuff from their books. Now, who better to explain it than Chris from Unearthed Games himself? There's a link in the description below with a demo video where he shows you what they're planning to build for us to make our games easier, more fun, and more streamlined. If you've been to the Dungeon Masters Guild lately, you might have already seen the announcement, but the people behind the Dungeon Masters Guild, one bookshelf, and also the people behind DriveThruRPG, which is also one bookshelf, are working together with Roll20 very closely in order to create a system where the PDFs on both of those websites are directly linked to Roll20. You can import them, you can share them with your players, you can play them directly into Roll20, which changes a lot of things. And the article is quite big and they're promising all kinds of stuff, but there's actually two very important parts that I want to talk about right now. So I'm gonna quickly read this out loud for you. In the coming weeks, we will add PDF support to Roll20's virtual tabletop, giving game masters and players the ability to upload, read, share, and immediately play using any PDF in the virtual tabletop. No need to link anywhere else for your players. Another quick note they give is this one: safe storage. PDFs hosted on your DriveThruRPG library will be accessible on Roll20 without affecting your storage limits. This functionality will take development time to implement, but it is a high priority on our shared roadmap. So you have this this storage limit on Roll20, right? But the PDFs do not interfere with that, since they are hosted on DriveThruRPG and just directly linked into your Roll20 account, and there's all this wizardry going on. It's probably going to work. And that takes us to the free copy of Lost Mine of Phandelver. Now, probably 99.9% of you watching already know this, but if you create an account on D&D Beyond, or you already have an account on D&D Beyond, you get free access to the Lost Mine of Phandelver. That's basically the news item. But hey, Lost Mine of Phandelver is actually a really good adventure, so make sure to check that out. That takes us to the brand new Unearthed Arcana, which is, like always, really weird. The first one, there is a glitchling player race, which is a really cool race actually. Thematically, it is a construct creature with wings. You are kind of like a humanoid construct and you have wings, but you can use these wings to kind of fly like a chicken. You can jump very far, you gain a temporary flying speed, but you need to land at the end of your turn. If you don't land at the end of your turn, you fall down. So you can basically jump like a chicken, but since you are a construct, you basically are a robot chicken. Another ability of the glitchling that I do not know if I find it cool or totally unnecessary and overpowered is a balance chaos. When you make an attack roll or a saving throw and roll a 9 or lower on the d20, you can balance chaos and treat the roll as a 10. So you can take 10 like you could in the 3rd edition or 3.5, and you can balance chaos in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So somebody with a proficiency bonus of 3 or 4 or 5 can use this 3 or 4 or 5 times a freaking day. I think this is really powerful, and it really invites this metagaming type of person, which is okay, everybody's fun is okay, but I just personally don't know if I hate it or love it. Then the Unearthed Arcana gives a new cleric subclass, and it talks about all kinds of feats and traits and backgrounds you can use in order to be part of the giant race without being a giant. So for example, you can be a giant foundling, so you are not a giant, but you're raised by giants, so you get all these feats. And there's also a new spell, House of Cards spell, where you cast all kinds of playing cards, big playing cards all around you. They protect you, and you're in this house with 3 freaking stories high, and people need to shoot these cards in order for you to be able to hit you, basically with range attacks or melee attacks. Now, every time somebody destroys one of those very fragile cards, you roll a d6. Do you roll a 5 or a 6, the entire house comes crumbling down. So it's really a weird spell, and that's just Unearthed Arcana for you, basically. Now, I have to admit, when I was reading it, I thought House of Cards spell was really dumb, but now that I say it out loud, it's actually pretty epic. And that was the first episode of my D&D news wave. I hope you learned something that you didn't already know. And if you have any news items for me to cover, make sure to go to my Discord link in the description below, where I have a separate channel where you can post news items for a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, whether it's Wizards of the Coast or it is third-party stuff. Just post it in there, and if I find it interesting enough to share with you, I will.